Morning has broken on what was once a crown jewel on Evansville's skyline. We're talking about the 420 Main building, but many of us will remember it as the home of Old National Bank. 51 years old, a sleeping giant that is now entering its final countdown. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tri-State, and thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Bird with Eyewitness News. Special coverage now of the implosion of the 420 Main building. It seems almost surreal down here right now. I'm surrounded by many construction workers from three firms who have worked so hard to prepare for this moment. This is just not a situation where you flip a switch and this building comes down. It has taken literally months of work to prepare this grand tower for the upcoming implosion that it will take place at 7 o'clock. I emphasize that is 7 o'clock scheduled time for it to come down. Joining me now is Evansville Mayor Lloyd Winnecke. And Mayor, I know this has to be kind of a surreal moment for you too. You know, you've been thinking about this for months, perhaps years, that this building might have to come down. What do you think now?
Well, surreal is I think it's the word of the morning, and it just sort of hit me probably 15 or 20 minutes ago as we were standing out just looking at the building and looking at the crowd that's assembling, watching the media, hearing the drones go up about us. And what we've been thinking about for years is not bringing this building down, but the revitalization of that block. And once the ownership group got in and really did the diligence of that building after they took ownership of it, it really became obvious that from a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing perspective, that it couldn't be repurposed as we had all hoped. And so really in August of 2020, we learned that really bringing the building down and bringing the Sycamore building down was the only way that block was going to be redeveloped. And in the years to come, hopefully after 3 or 4 months of clearing the debris, you'll see construction that will start relatively soon. We hope, on a new $60 million development there.
And we're looking ahead to the future, but I know you have memories inside this building. I remember when I first came to Evansville, I was only about 5 years old, and I was able to interview Dan Mitchell, the president of Old National Bank, up on the 5th floor. And the ambiance of the place then, certainly much different than it is now.
Well, one of the interesting things that's occurred over the last several weeks leading up to the implosion is I've literally had dozens of people say, I started my career in that building. And they're telling me stories about when they started working, and that's pretty cool. But you're right, the Petroleum Club certainly was an Evansville landmark, and that was the place to be for a lot of years on a Saturday or Friday or Saturday night. But yeah, it's going to be a little different.
Well, Mayor, I'm going to let you go because there are many people right here now, but it appears as though the public has respected the wishes of the city to just stay a safe distance away. Watch this on stream or on air as we prepare for this, but thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All righty. Mayor Lloyd Winnecke. Now, folks, to describe the ambiance of what this building was 51 years ago, think of this. The Lloyd Expressway was not here. It was Division Street. The old L&N Depot was still standing over off of Fulton as it goes into Riverside Drive. There was the Executive Inn, a city within a city, that was still standing. So it is really a situation where we are seeing a piece of history slowly disappear. It'll take place in a few minutes. And the timeline of what you're going to be seeing right now, let's just show you what it will take to bring this down. At about 6:57, they're going to do basically a 3-minute warning, then to a 2-minute warning, and then there will be the final countdown for the tower to come down. I'm told it'll be take about 26 seconds. And so a big question right now is, we got an advisory last night that the dust cloud, wouldn't you know it, the prevailing winds are coming toward us from the back. So we may be involved in a bit of a dust cloud, but it has been raining this morning. I want to get to, if we can, Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart, who is watching the implosion high atop the Hilliard Lions building, not far from here. Wayne, can you hear me right now?
I can, Brad. And I am up here on the 7th floor of the Hilliard Lions building. Got a perfect view of what is going to be history here in about 10 minutes.
And you know, we often talk about wind gusts. There really are no wind gusts here, but it's just enough of a breeze that will impact the dust. But the rain is a good thing. Tell me about the dynamics of that.
Well, there is some light rain out there, and that is a good thing because that basically will help settle the dust. And that's what we want to minimize as much as possible because there's going to be a lot of dust and debris coming down, and at least the finer particles will help, the rain will help settle those as opposed to allowing them to disperse horizontally. Rain comes down vertically, and so that's going to help settle the dust. And it's not a heavy rain, as you know, out there, but as we check the radar and the current conditions, the winds are light. They're out in the southeast around 5 miles per hour. So it's no weather issues at all. Matter of fact, this is probably pretty ideal conditions in terms of what they would hope for. I think rain's a good thing. They were only concern would have been severe weather, and that's certainly not in the cards this morning. So we're fine in terms of that. So the light rain is going to be helpful with the dust and just a light southeast wind, and that's good because you don't want to be blowing that dust either in any particular direction. So I think weather conditions are pretty good, Brad.
Okay, and Wayne, thank you so much. You've got an ideal view. We have an ideal view here, and we have a drone up today. And the opening shot, I believe, was from, ironically, the Fifth Third tower cam for Eyewitness News, showing the upper part of the sleeping giant, the former Old National Bank building this morning as the sun was coming up. And we did have sunrise today at approximately 6:42. So we are getting a good view now. Wayne, thank you so much. We will be in touch. And I'm looking up at the flag of the old Vanderbilt County Courthouse now, and it does show the wind blowing in from the southeast, but something else is going to be happening. This week I talked to Mark Loazzo, who is the president and owner of CDI, the Implosion part of this, the firm that has done so many implosions throughout the country, highly respected firm worldwide. They brought everything down from the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis to the Kingdom in Seattle, the largest square footage and cubic footage building that has ever been imploded. Mark comes from a family that started this in 1947. The implosion business. I talked to him about, though, one of the things unique here in Evansville. I'm looking up now, it's going on about 6:55, and the bells of 7 o'clock will be tolling for this building. I asked him about that just yesterday. Let's listen.
I think it's an interesting analogy because that courthouse has been here a long time. It was here, I'm sure, and watched that building go up, and it's still going to be here and watch that building come down. So it's an apt analogy that the bells will toll for the structure as this part of Evansville is renovated and for the people, good people.
And I know there's a lot of sentimental feelings about this building, but as the mayor indicated, and several people I've talked to, the interior of the 420 main building had been, well, brutally honest, had been horribly neglected over the last 20 years. Shortly after Old National moved out and opened its brand new headquarters on the riverfront in the early 2000s, the former Old National Bank Tower basically sat there. It did have some tenants. It never really had activity on the main floor. And in many ways, it was sad to see it slowly age. I looked up at it a few years ago when my wife and I were at dinner downtown here, and I could see the oxidation on the windows that had taken a toll on the building. But it was ironic. Chief photographer John Simpson and I were just here a couple of days ago just doing a recon there at 5th and Main. We were able to look up, and it must have been the lighting or where the sun hit that building. It looked practically brand new, but on the other side, a totally different story. You'll notice that there are some areas that have already been carved out. Mark had told me that the primary thing that would bring this building down is not the explosives, about 380 pounds of explosives, bringing down 18,000 tons. But he said it was a simple nature dynamic called gravity, and that's what will bring this building down now in just about, I'm looking in just about 3 minutes. And it's going to be interesting to see if they let those bells toll and then push the button. There have been literally hundreds of people involved in this. There is the warning siren right now. That is approaching 6:57, I believe. We've got 3 minutes to go, and it will sound again. And again, I believe the public has really cooperated and staying out of this area. There are a few people here. Many of them, I talked to a family here, basically from Indianapolis. Another warning, and it's right now 6:57. That alarm is being sounded, so we are getting very, very close right now. And I'm just looking up at this grand old Vanderburgh County Courthouse, and I noted on Facebook this morning, it's almost like it's an old sentry looking to the southeast at the tower. And to think that that was built in 1888, opened in 1890, and it is still standing, and it has seen so much change in downtown Evansville, and it is going strong. We have now 2 minutes before the implosion. Now, I'll be backing out of this shot, obviously, when the building comes down. What you're going to hear to prepare you will be almost like shotguns going off repetitively inside that building. There's the 2-minute warning. There we go. I'm going to start moving out right now, but you will hear several bangs inside that building, and there will be a pause, and you'll think, well, what's happening? Then the implosion begins, and you will see it come down. It will ever so slightly list toward us, just barely visibly, as it begins to give way and coming straight down. Many of the buildings downtown here have been covered by tarps. The Licks Ice Cream Shop building, I can see it from here, right across the street. It's covered. Several buildings on Main Street are covered. They're going to try to have everything reopened down here, with the exception of 5th and Main. I'm hearing a countdown right now. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
And the bells are sounding 7 o'clock. Let's offer a moment of silence right now. It's gone. Dust cloud slowly coming toward us right now. I'm going to go ahead and mask up. People now turning away because we can feel that dust coming in. My heavens, the technology they use now to bring buildings down, that I was told by Mark Loazzo that it would probably take 26 seconds. He was that precise. to bring it down. And as you can see, people are now turned away. I'm turning my back from it because it's not only it's not necessarily the sound, but that dust is coming in. And we are obviously in the dust cloud, and I cannot even see the old Vanderburgh County Courthouse now. I'm standing about 5 feet from John Simpson, and we can smell some of that coming in. We have our N95 masks on. And right now I've got 7:01. The first thing that I saw go down was the parking garage toward the riverfront. And then the tower did list a little bit, and it came straight down. A lot of smoke in the area. And I often think of the many of them definitely, I'm stepping back into the shot right now. Many of them who worked so many years. It was announced in 1967 that the tower would be built. Old National had its older building just to the southwest of the tower. And they built the tower, and it was opened in 1970. Then they tore the Old National Bank building down, about I believe a 5-story building on Main. And that's when they completed the parking garage. And it was smack dab in the center of the building. And I'm looking right now at a piece. This looks like insulation, John. This is insulation from the building that just imploded. I'm going to keep this if I can. And I'm still on the air. I just heard my IFB go off, so please let me know. But it has definitely, it's come down. But how do you talk about something like this? And when this all clears out, if you Google image any photo of downtown Evansville, just go to your computer, hit Google. I'm back connected right now. It's 7:03. If you look at any picture on Google Image, the former Old National Bank Tower is right there. In fact, I've often told our chief meteorologist, Wayne Hart, we may have to redo the skyline shot. Okay, we do have a drone shot right now of the debris. I do not have a monitor to see that. But that drone is well outside. We are respecting the exclusion zone request. There are drones all over this building from the contractors. I'm talking about Renaissance, Barton Mallow, and also CDI. This will undoubtedly show up on YouTube after this is over. And the rain is starting to come down again, and that is a good thing. And I'm looking behind me right now. It's gone. I know I'm speaking the obvious, but that is what it really hits home now. And before this was brought down, the old Sycamore building, which was Caddy Corner in the same block from the 420 Main building, it was demolished. It was a much shorter building, about a 9-story building. Ironically, it was home to Citizens National Bank for many years. When Old National came in. So the two largest banks in the city, Citizens, of course, now is Fifth Third, actually occupied that block back there. Wow. And I see the Hilliard Lyons building. And this is a major, major opening here. This is what's really, when all this clears up, you'll see what we're talking about. The skyline has definitely changed. Now, Mayor Winnick had talked about the new development that is going to be coming in, and it may take up to 18 months. They first have to clear all this out, of course, prepare it. It will be it's a planned, from Domo Development, a planned multi-use complex, a 6-story building and a 4-story building with retail, commercial, retail, apartments, office space, and there will be green space in that block. But the buildings will be 6 and 4 stories tall. Right now, after this is over, the Fifth Third Bank building is now the tallest in the tri-state. It was not as tall as the old National Bank Tower, former old National Bank Tower. But you know what really strikes me is what I'm looking at right now, and that's the dome of the Vanderburgh County Courthouse, which stands about 220 feet tall. I've been up there before in that dome, and we are so lucky that many of our buildings are still preserved here in the tri-state. We've lost a few, the Vin Dome, the L&N Depot, the inevitability of time. And this building that just went down, what is tough for a lot of people, we know the future has a lot in store for us, but when I first started here, it was a brand new building, and I was able to cover a lot of events in that building, and it's gone now. But the future holds a lot in store for us. They are going to try to get this area cleaned up for vehicular traffic, with the exception of Main Street and 5th, right next to what once was the old National Bank Tower. Thank you so much for joining us. Complete coverage coming up online and on air on ABC 25 and on CW7 and Tri-State homepage. Thank you so much. I'm Brad Bird reporting. Have a good Sunday.